2 tombstones.
Yes, that's a good thing. That is definitely a good thing. We're, you know, it's kind of, again, it's really just a tradition that's been kind of neat to participate in, and obviously Clemson's had a lot of success over the years, and since my time, it's been fun to be a part of all of those, and kind of neat to walk by and remember those moments, you know, throughout the year. So appreciate our guys coming back. Everybody's excited about Pro Day tomorrow. We know our guys will be amped up for that. Today's day 6 for us, and that's what I was just telling the team. It seems like the season just finished, and now we're already day 6 of spring ball. So it goes really, really fast. But I really like what we've been able to get done these first 5 days. Been very physical. You know, we've had a pretty good amount of installation, but we really just try to focus on, you know, making sure these guys are learning how to do what we're asking them to do, and in all 3 phases. So today's another big day. We'll be very competitive. That's the other thing I like about how we practice. If you don't show up, you get exposed, because it's very competitive every single day. You know, with how we practice. We did lose Adrian Baker towards ACL, and just like a lot of ACL injuries, non-contact, just planted. You know, doing one-on-ones, just planted. But we've already started that process of getting him back, and we're all hopeful that you know, hopefully, you know, the goal is sometime in September to get him back with us. But his attitude is good, but you hate when young men have to deal with that type of adversity. But we got a long line of guys that we can point to that have, you know, starting with Deshaun Watson, Sharon Pete, and Tony Stewart, and so on, of guys who've dealt with the same thing. So hopefully Adrian will attack his rehab, you know, like those guys, and have, you know, the same type of success. But outside of that, it's been you know, good spring. We've had a couple of guys get a little dinged up. Caleb Chalmers, his shoulder, but he should be back here soon. Hopefully with today we'll get through and not have any other issues. But we expect everybody back once we you know, get back from spring break. And Wiggins won't do all the contact stuff, but he will be, you know, kind of mixed back in all the individual and stuff when we get back from spring break as well. So again, it's been a good you know, 5 days, and anxious to see how they compete today. We had a half scrimmage on Monday. It was the first time we really just kind of let them play a little bit. It was controlled. We created situations, and you know, we had not quite gotten everything, so we kind of controlled it. But it was good to see the guys just go out and play and see who was kind of getting it and who still not quite there. And we'll continue that. So I think the break's coming at a good time after 6 days, and we'll have meetings tomorrow, and these guys will get off next week, and hopefully they'll continue to study their notes and installation, and come back and you know, be ready for a strong 3-week finish.
Dabo, the expectations that are being put on this offense already about what they might be able to accomplish next year, they haven't shied away from it, have they?
Well, I mean, they have their own high expectations. I don't think that anybody you know, outside of our program you know, has higher expectations than what these guys have for themselves. I mean, you got a lot of successful guys that are coming back, and a lot of guys that are driven and motivated and focused on being great, and that's a contagious thing. So I'm excited about having a guy like Deshaun Watson back. I'm excited to have the you know, Kelly and Nick have more experience than they've ever had, and they'll be much more prepared to go compete. You know, Ray's played. He's in the process of really developing. You know, hopefully Dion will be back at some point, and you know, he's played now. This time last year he had not. You know, Leggett's had the great experience. We got a lot of guys, some experience in the offensive line, getting Adam Choice back. Gallman's rushed for 1,500 yards. Get Mike Williams back. So there's a lot of really good things. Artavis has had 2 great years for us. So, you know, they should be have high expectations. But you know, potential, as I talk about, is one thing. Performance is what it's all about. And I always tell these guys, last year's touchdowns aren't going to win this year. You gotta go and you gotta start over, and that's what we're in the process of doing. And everybody's got to prove it. Deshaun Watson's got to prove every day that he's the best quarterback. Wayne's got to prove every day that he's the best running back. That's just the mentality that we try to create in our guys, and the sense of urgency that we bring to practice every day as coaches, because that's what it takes. There's no complacency. We're all focused on trying to get better, and I expect us to be, a very good offense once again.
With Pro Day tomorrow, you've got 3 guys that are potentially being talked about from the last year's defense being first-round picks. That's back-to-back years with multiple first-round picks from this defense. What does it say about how far this defense has come, what you guys have done on the defensive side of the football, and maybe the 3 guys that are being talked about specifically?
Well, I think first of all, we've recruited very well, and we've developed very well. I think that's really what it says. And when I say recruited very well, it doesn't mean we've signed top-ranked classes or we've signed 5 stars. Kevin Dodd was a star and a half, and he's one of those guys they're talking about. Shaq was a pretty highly thought of guy coming out of high school, and he's developed as well. And obviously McKenzie was a kid coming out. He was a 5-star guy that's developed too. So. It's a totality of our program that I'm most proud of, and then I think it speaks to our defensive staff and the job that they do. They do a tremendous job, all those guys. I'm really proud of the consistency that we've been able to create, in our program, but also defensively. And again, Marion Hobby is. He could end up with 3 first-rounders in 2 years, and really only one of those guys was considered a good defensive end prospect coming out of high school, and that's Shaq. Vic was just an athlete, a tailback. Never played D-line ever, and Dodd was a guy that played very little football, and so I think Marion Hobby is as good as it gets, and It's fun to see those guys develop. They deserve a ton of credit as well, because you got to buy in and you got to be willing to put the work in. You got to be coachable. Sometimes you have to be patient, like a guy like Kevin Dodd, and I'm really proud of him.